you looked at my previous video when we took this thing on a road trip, it had a few problems, to say the least. And the big one was the engine's cutting out. You floor it, you know, all of a sudden it starts oscillating. Okay, all right, that's good. Enough massage for today. Oh man, we were laughing about it, giving us a massage. We're going to call this the Chiropractor Benz and probably change the name once we fix it and get it running good. By the way, I'm looking for a name for this car. So if any of you have a good name, this one has yet to be named. You know, when you got a problem like this with power in a diesel, it's usually filters, fuel or filters. And when you saw how this car was running and how it would just sit there and it just kept cutting out, you got to think about, well, what could that be? Well, if it's not getting fuel, if it's not getting good fuel pressure to the fuel injection pump, then it's suffering from a little bit of fuel starvation. It could also have some air restriction, not getting enough air to the turbocharger causing that. So there's a number of things related to not getting enough fuel, and there's a number of things related to not getting enough air. By the way, when I talk about getting enough air, it's not only air coming in to the engine, into the intake, but it's air going out the exhaust. I've had problems similar to this with a plugged exhaust system. So you got to think air movement through the whole engine and out the exhaust when you're having some of these power loss related issues. Now today, I just can't wait. I got to find out what in the world is going wrong. So I'm going to open the hood now, and we're going to do a couple of really easy things. A couple of quick checks, do some really easy things. You don't want to start overhauling the engine. Remember, you troubleshoot a problem like this, you start out with the easy things first. So I want to take a look at the air filter in the air intake. This is the air filter housing, and this elbow goes into the intake of the turbocharger. I want to make sure that the filter's in good condition. There's no restriction in this elbow. You can't believe one time I found a rag. I found a rag stuck down in right at the inlet to the turbocharger. And nobody could figure out what was wrong with the car, and I bought it real cheap. I just pulled the rag out and off I went. I had a great turbo diesel. That was one of those really good stories. So I'll pull this little breather tube off first. Yeah, that's what happens when things get old and brittle. Okay, let's go around. Okay, now I can pull the cover off. Huh, look at that. We have a fairly new air filter in there. You know, it's not brand new, but that is obviously not our problem. Now, this air filter, you know, still has life to it. So I'm going to set this aside, and now I'm going to pull this housing off. The bracket is broken. Wow, it's really broken. So, maybe I'm getting into more work than I want to today, but let's take a look anyway. Okay, let me show you what's happened here. The rubber mounts have broken off, okay? But the bracket's still intact. Look at that, all three mounts have broken off. Oh, look at this hose. This is the turbocharger wastegate hose. This is supposed to be a silicone hose. And a lot of people will put regular fuel hose on here and it won't last because it can't take the heat. Okay, that's a problem. I'm going to reach in here and spin the turbocharger. Okay, the turbocharger is spinning. That's not blocked up. So this is typical of what you might run into. You might say, oh, I'm just going to go check something, and then suddenly you need parts. I'm going, oh no, I really didn't want to have to change the rubber mounts here. And it looks like, if I look at the the turbo elbow, yeah, this was loose. It wasn't even tight. I'm not going to be able to really drive this, though, until I fix it. I don't think the air intake is going to be a problem with the power loss on this engine, but we're going to need to replace these rubber mounts before I can test drive it anymore and fix this hose. On this turbo wastegate hose, I'm just going to shorten this up and put it back on here. This will be a temporary thing for test drive, but I will have to order in the proper silicone hose if I expect it to last. Now you notice I'm wearing gloves. For safety, I highly recommend you do the same. You know, your skin is not a sealant from all these harsh chemicals and petroleum products. So wear gloves when you're working on these old diesels. Look at that, just breaking apart due to the heat. I'm gonna have to break this hose off here because it's just frozen on there. But for safety, I don't want anything flying into the turbocharger here, so I'm gonna plug this. And I'm gonna grab those vice grips over here. And let's see if I can break this rest of this hose off. I'll just grab a hold of the outer edge of it. There we go. I'm going to wipe this flange off because when we put the air filter housing back on, that rubber gasket's got a seal on this. Hopefully I can find enough hose here that's not deteriorated. I normally would take time to clean some of these parts up, but I'm just in a hurry. I'm cold. I'm working outside here. I want to get this test done, see if we can solve the chiropractic issue. Okay, I think we can reinstall the air filter housing now. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these 3 nuts back on, and I'm going to tighten up this elbow clamp down here. And then I think we're going to take this on a road test. You're going to say, well, Kent, why are you going to do that? Okay, we're going to do that because I changed something here, and I want to know if it's going to make any effect on this power problem. What did I change? I reconnected the wastegate hose. That does affect the turbo performance. So before I do something else on this engine, I'm going to take it out on the road, and we're going to see if there's any difference. If not, guess what I'm going to do next? I'm going to come back here and change the fuel filter. See, it's a lot nicer to have a wing nut. You can inspect your filter without needing any tools at all. All right, now I'll take these clips, snap them back into place. Okay, now I'm going to get my screwdriver and tighten up that clamp. Then I've got to do something about this breather tube. I don't have one of these in stock. I may have to rob it off one of my other engines. But we'll do something so we can take this thing back out on the road right now. I really want to do this. I want to do one thing at a time, and then we'll go drive it. We want to find out exactly what's causing that hesitation and power loss. You know, it's getting so late in the day, I really do need another massage, so I'm kind of hoping I haven't fixed it yet. Checking for tools. Make sure that you double check all your tools before you close the hood. You can't believe how many hoods I've seen close with dents in it because somebody left a tool in the engine compartment. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off these wiper blades. You know, they've been sitting in the needles here for a while. Okay, I think we're ready to roll. I gotta sit here and wait for all this traffic to go by. I don't want to be pulling out in front of anybody. Remember, I don't have a lot of power here. Oh dear, I'm gonna have to wait some more. I'm gonna pull off on the side road here and just coast along a little bit. I want to get the engine a little bit warmer before I floor it. Okay, let's floor it and see what happens. Wow, look at that! That's a kick. That's almost too much, almost more than I can believe. But let's try it one more time. Maybe that's just lucky. Now I'm going to take you back. We were on this road yesterday. I'm going to take you back and show you what it was like when we accelerated from this position. You know, oil pressure looks good. Engine temperature's kind of slow to coming up. Okay, I'm in drive. I'm going to floor it right now. It's floored. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Okay, take a little while. Oh, jerk, shift, jerk. Oh, here we go. Massage. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Oh boy. Well, that's going to take some tuning, isn't it? We have any idea what that is? Is that like maybe there's some mice in the tailpipe? That's going to be a new one. Oh. Now we're going to do the same thing today, one day later, with only attaching a hose. Didn't cost me anything. Here we go. Look at that. We're already up to 50 miles an hour. Now there's some more tuning that needs to be done because it's coming off the line pretty slow. But I think I can make this car really go. Remember, you can do it. Position shifting pretty well too. I'm going to kind of do this kind of normal here. But the transmission's going to need a little bit adjusting. But it's shifting properly. You know, I told you it rained hard in the Pacific Northwest. Still raining 300 SDs here. And didn't we have a lot of fun today? Look at that. I just love fixing something like this without spending any money. If I hadn't had to fix those air cleaner mounts, it would have only taken 15 minutes. I'm not going to explain in this video of what that hose is for or why that fixed the problem. We'll do that in a future episode. Let's say goodnight, you old beast, and head for home. Oh, look at that. We're still, we got diesels everywhere around here, but we love them.